everyone, and welcome to the Zyphonium channel. It has been a long while. As some of you already know, I'm currently in the process of staging a YouTube comeback. Back when my YouTube channel was really popping off, this channel was one of the parts I really enjoyed. I just really love telling stories. I've made a decision to compile a lot of my older videos into one mega video, mostly because I feel like it'll get pushed out to a larger audience in the future. As you'll probably be able to tell, they'll feature a different voice. It's all good though. I'm still proud of this older content. Now I just have some new stories to tell. I'm working on another video explaining the future of this channel, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel, and I hope you enjoy listening. Noot noot.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Zyphonium video. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm glad to be able to say that I am. So today I have a story about this crazy chemistry teacher. I know in my last video I was going to talk about a teacher conference, but I want to try getting more videos out on here, and that other story is pretty complicated. This one's much easier to tell because it flows much better. I don't really have to go on that many tangents. So to understand this entire story, you have to understand my school. So in the second year of high school, the sophomore year, everyone has to take chemistry. It's called MYP chemistry, but it's basically just chemistry honors. It's not supposed to be a breezy class, but you know, it's not the most complicated thing in the world. In my first day of taking chemistry, I was surprised to see that the teacher in the room was not the same as the teacher on my schedule. It was an entirely new one. I was actually very optimistic about this class, because it seemed like it could be a lot of fun. I mean, it's chemistry. I know I sound like a nerd, but it did seem like an interesting class. Everyone had the same wrong name on the schedule as me, so we were all confused at first. We quickly caught on. But in his first day, it's pretty apparent that this guy does not know how to teach. And I'm not saying that just to say, oh, this is a terrible teacher. No. It was obviously clear that he had no idea what he was doing. Every time the teacher asked the class a question, no one wanted to answer. It was just 15 seconds of awkward silence. And so the teacher is thinking out loud to himself about what he can do. The first few weeks were a bit weird, because he tried experimenting with different systems to get us to pay attention. I guess as the class went on, he got much better at it, and he found his own style of teaching. I have to cut the teacher some slack here though, because we all have to start somewhere. Think about the first time you drew something. I betcha it was not that great. And maybe some of you aren't even good at drawing now. I know when I started YouTube, the videos were just terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I may have thought that they were the best videos ever at the time, but no. I can't stand to watch them. To be fair, I like watching them for nostalgia, and they have some intrinsic value to me, but besides that, they're just terrible. Obviously, we're not going to be Albert Einstein right out of the gate. Even Albert Einstein wasn't the Albert Einstein we know right out of the gate. It took him some time. So yeah, the teacher definitely wasn't the best at the beginning, but you know, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. He was also a pretty strict teacher. He had this policy of eating in class where you are allowed to eat unless he catches you. If he does catch you, you have to put your food on his desk. Same goes for gum. And if he catches you on your phone, he would confiscate it and you would not be able to grab it until the end of the day. I mean, that type of strict. Even most strict teachers I know who try to enforce rules, at least they have some kind of warning system. But yeah, it was just this. Oh, and if you had gum, you had to give up the entire box of gum, not just the wrapper and the gum you're chewing. So people made a point to not bring the actual gum boxes. I mean, I guess that's a weird loophole, I don't know. I never really had a problem with the rules, but you know, a lot of people were upset about the rules. I could definitely see why. Oh, and I just realized, I'm already a bit into this video and I haven't even given the teacher a name. Okay, I'll call him Mr. Sand. So Mr. Sand would always teach with very weird scenarios. Like, he was the most odd teacher I've ever learned from. To describe concepts in chemistry, he would use movies like Avatar or alternate dimensions, that type of stuff. His tests were pretty simple, so I never had any problems in the class. A lot of people said that they weren't learning anything, but to be honest, I feel like that's what everyone says in every class. I felt like I was actually learning stuff, and I was able to pass the class with the stuff I was learning. I don't know. So the year ends, and my school has this IB program. If you don't know what IB is, you sign up for classes within 6 different subjects, you know, like math, science, that type of stuff. And you can get college credit for it, at least in the United States. And most classes last 2 years. So for my science class, I chose chemistry. And chemistry, for whatever reason, was supposed to be a 1-year class, which makes no sense because the exam I was supposed to take had stuff like organic chemistry on it. The concepts were just way too advanced to be learned in 1 year. But I don't know. I signed up for chemistry, and I'm very surprised to learn that Mr. Sand is my teacher again. You know, I wasn't complaining at the time, because that meant I could have an easy breezy class. And I'm not gonna lie, since it was my last class of the day, every other day, and it was after lunch, whenever it came to the school day, I always felt like the class before that was the real last class of the day, and chemistry was just relaxation. Not that I didn't learn anything, and not that I wasn't paying attention, but more like, I never actually stressed about it, the same way I stressed about other classes. Everyone quickly realizes that he has no idea what he's doing. He went from being a new teacher to being the guy who everyone relies on for being able to pass this college credit exam. And since he doesn't know what to teach, he straight up reads the IB syllabus. You know, the set of bullet points that tells you what you're supposed to learn, not what you're supposed to learn from, but the outline. He just reads that as our entire lesson. Every lesson is just him reading the syllabus. That would be like a history teacher teaching everything based off of the trivia section in a Wikipedia article, or something like that, I don't know. Point is, he doesn't have any real lesson plans. Things are looking bad if you have to resort to teaching based off of a syllabus. The syllabus is supposed to help you teach. It's not supposed to be what you're teaching directly. The teacher also got a little more over the top. Whenever a kid wasn't paying attention, he made them do a cruel and unusual punishment. I remember this friend of mine who never paid attention in class and was always sleeping. Mr. Sand would always wake him up and make him do crab walks around the classroom. Crab walks. And this constantly interrupted class. Not only that, but he was embracing it. There was crab walk races, competitions, that sort of stuff. And it took up a good portion of class. The teacher was a vegan for health reasons, and one day, one of my classmates made fun of whatever type of veganism he was. I can't remember what exact type off the top of my head, but let's just say the teacher made him write an entire essay about that type of veganism as a punishment. I'm not saying the classmate was in the right, I'm just saying that really has nothing to do with the class, don't you think? I should also add that it was very clear, if it wasn't already obvious enough from the fact that he was teaching from the syllabus, he didn't even know all the material he was teaching. This one time, he was giving us an example of this chemistry problem on the board, and this example was taking so long, it was like 30 minutes since he began, and I kid you not. That long into the example problem, he realizes that he made a mistake in the beginning. All the work that he just spent 30 minutes teaching us was suddenly invalidated. It was just crazy. As we approached the middle of the year, we quickly realized that we weren't ready for the exam that we were supposed to take in the spring. We were just not prepared. And so, a bunch of the students in my class constantly complained to administration about how the teacher was terrible. And for a time, the administration did not take this seriously, mostly because the teacher had a doctor's degree, and so they assumed that he knew very well what he was teaching about. It all came to a turning point when the administration found out that there were things, important projects, that the teacher was neglecting to do. So again, it was an IB class, and the way IB classes work is that you have to do what's called an internal assessment. Basically, it's just this project you do, this huge project that has a huge impact on your IB score. And you know, it's a chemistry project, so we have to do an experiment and all that. Well, guess what? Mr. Sand had no idea about that. By this point, we were supposed to be somewhere in the process, I don't know where, but you know, well into the process. And this finally concerned the school. It was impossible for us to even have a chance at passing if we didn't have it done. And so the school finally made the right decision and switched teachers. Mr. Sand went back to teaching 10th grade chemistry, and we got the teacher who was teaching IB chemistry for years. This was a talk of the school. Even people who didn't take chemistry knew about the chemistry teacher who was so bad that they had to switch classes. Oh, and not only that, but the school finally made chemistry a 2-year class. It was about time, because there was no way anyone would have passed that, even the highest ranked students. There is just no way. First week of class, everyone just badmouths the old teacher, the new teacher included. The new teacher explains how Mr. Sand did not know anything about the IB program, and you know the quiet kids who do nothing but pay attention in class? Well, guess what? they start complaining about the old teacher too. You know, the people who never say anything, who are the most respectful students you can have, even they agree that Mr. Sand was a bad teacher. My new teacher would go on to be the teacher I had for the rest of the year and the next year of IB chemistry. I do think the exam was hard, even with 2 years of preparation, and I can agree there was no way I was going to pass that if it was 1 year. At least the one good thing that came out of all this is that they finally made chemistry a 2-year class. This was actually something that everyone was pushing for years, but the school wouldn't do. The main reason for this is that students who took the IB chemistry exam after 1 year would then have to take AP chemistry the next year, our senior year. And if we pass both of them, the school gets even more money. So it was all about money and not about a realistic path to passing the class. I don't think it's a good idea to replace a teacher with decades of experience with a teacher who didn't even have 1 year of experience at the time for such a huge class. He didn't even prove himself. Look, and I'm not saying that it's Mr. Sand's fault. Honestly, I'm not even entirely sure Mr. Sand wanted to teach that class to begin with. Point is, he should not have been teaching it. It was a terrible decision. The school messed up and had to fix it. And quite frankly, I think Mr. Sand was actually a pretty cool dude, not gonna lie. To me, that was actually one of the main appeals of the class. But I don't know. It's all over now. Not really a big deal to me. But at the time, it was a huge deal. But yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. So what do you think? What would you have done if you had Mr. Sand as a teacher? Please let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you'd like to stay tuned for more storytime videos like this, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. Every video I give a shout out, at least starting with this video. And the shout out for today goes to the one and only Mighty Thunder 58. For a chance at a shoutout, all you have to do is comment on this video. You can comment anything, and you don't even have to subscribe. I'll choose a random comment and put it in my next video. Besides all that, be sure to check out my other videos. You can click on the left for a video about the time I got a detention for not touching an Oreo. Yes, you heard that right. I got in trouble because I absolutely refused to touch an Oreo at all costs. You can also click on the video to the right for a video about the time an entire class at my school had to retake an AP exam because some guy cheated on it. Anyways, that's it. See ya. Peace. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another storytime video. And for the first time on this channel, I'm going to tell you a high school story. This is actually something I wanted to talk about for a while because it kind of demonstrates some of the issues with the school system, or at least competitive schools. So without any further ado, let's get into the story. So for high school, I went to a super competitive school. It was a magnet school, and no one had a guaranteed way of getting into the school unless they were local and applied to the school, but it was still a magnet school. You could not get into the school based off of where you live. It was also very high ranked. I'm not trying to say, oh, I went to a better school than you, because quite frankly, even though it was a pretty good school, think of it this way. By going to my school, we exchanged one set of problems for another set of problems. I know this may not be relatable in any sense, but it is still crazy and you want to stay tuned. You know how in most high schools, the last year or senior year is very laid back? Well, that's a very stressful year at my high school, or at least where I went to, because I graduated. And I'll tell you, it was not something I really liked. Like, sure, in the end we get a lot of college credits from it, but it was absolute torture. In some respects, I wish I didn't go through it, but in others, I'm kinda glad I went through it. Anyways, because of how competitive my high school was, people were very careful about what classes they took. Everyone, or at least the people who cared, they had a big phobia of taking honors or regular classes. Because you see, in my high school, our GPAs, our grade point averages, were on a 6.0 scale. Anything college level, like, AP, classes taken at another college, IB, if you got an A in those classes, you get 6 points. But an A in an honors class would only give you 4.5 points, and a regular class would give you just 4. And this was one of the biggest issues. One year, there was this one girl who had one of the highest GPAs in the entire class, and the only reason she was not the valedictorian is because she took chorus. That's how bad it was. If she did not take chorus, she would have been valedictorian. And that's not even adding class, we're removing a class here. That's how bad it was. In fact, my high school was actually divided into different programs. The people in the computer science program, they were upset because their curriculum involved a ton of regular level classes. They felt cheated because anyone at the IB program at my school who took an easy algebra level math class for 6 points had a better chance of being high ranked than a person who took classes in Java, JavaScript, MySQL, Python, you name it. That's absolutely ridiculous. Although to be fair, in the end, the computer science kids got more practical knowledge out of what they learned. And quite frankly, they learned enough to not even have to go to college. But that's besides the point. It was so competitive, every credit counted. You had to find every way to get any advantage you could over your other classmates. And in my states, there's this public school online that anyone can go to take extra classes. The grades you got in those classes would count for actual high school credit. So during my freshman year, on top of taking AP Physics and AP World History, everyone who was trying to get ahead of our peers, they took AP classes online, mostly AP Psychology. In the second year of high school, the sophomore year, we began to start being allowed to take dual enrollment, or in other words, we could take actual college classes with the local community college. A lot of the kids who wanted to be competitive, they took classes there. By this point, it wasn't really clear who was going to be at the top of the class by the end of our senior year, but there was one kid who had an idea. He discovered something that no one knew, and I'll call this kid Nicholas. I actually had a friend named Nicholas. He's actually really cool, but he has nothing to do with this kid. Nicholas here discovered that at a local private school, where everyone at my school went to take prep classes for the SAT, very important test in the United States for college admissions, you could take extra high school classes there. If you gave them enough money, they'll find a teacher, and you could take AP classes that you could not take on the online public school that a lot of people took classes with. So he did that, unbeknownst to a lot of people, and he was kind of talking about it. He talked about it with his close friends, but the word spread to other people in the class, mostly people who were really competitive about valedictorian. Everyone wanted to be valedictorian, or at least at the beginning of our freshman year. When 400-ish people want to be valedictorian, you know that only one person can, and over time, a lot of people are going to trip on a bunch of rocks and hurt their chances, but the people who were still in the race, they discovered this and started doing the same thing. Now, I don't know exactly how many people did this, but I know that the top 3 people at the end of my senior year, they all did it. And for the purpose of the story, the other 2 people in the top 3, other than Nicholas, were Nicole and Paul. Paul was a big player for the valedictorian throughout this time, and everyone liked him. He was very humble, he was very nice, respectful, the ideal student. They were trying to find any advantage class-wise that they could, and it ended up being so close that the GPAs were off by 100th each. If one person had a 5.412 GPA, another person had a 5.413 GPA. That's how close it was. And I'm not even exaggerating that. Maybe I use numbers that are close to where their GPAs were at, because that's actually around where they were. But you get the point. They calculated the GPA for valedictorian and salutatorian differently than how they calculated class rank. The slight difference ended up mattering, because you see, that one kid, Nicholas, the only reason he was number 1 in the class was because the other 2 top 3 students took some high school honors classes while they were in middle school. However, in calculating the GPAs for the valedictorian and salutatorian, they did not include high school classes taken in middle school. So what ended up happening is that Paul, who was number 3 in the class, ended up being valedictorian. Nicole, who was number 2, salutatorian, and Nicholas was nowhere. He was number 1 in the class, but not even salutatorian. When they announced the top 10 students in the class, and who was going to be the valedictorian and salutatorian, you could tell that he was upset. Now, I wasn't in the same room as him at the time, but everyone was talking about it. Just imagine being number 1 in the class, and not even being named salutatorian. Wow. So graduation comes around, everyone's happy, although Nicholas kind of looks a bit distraught. Like his face was reading, that could have been me. And to be frank, that actually really could have been him. So I guess the moral of this story is, first off, if you have a competitive high school, it's eventually going to get so competitive that it all boils down to money. And second off, don't tell people your secret. To be honest, I feel like Nicholas would have actually got on scot-free if he didn't tell other people about what he was doing. Maybe at the end of senior year he could have revealed it, but he revealed his secret, and everyone else, or at least 2 other people in the running against him, they copied him. So yeah, do I think it's morally wrong? Not really. I don't think they did anything wrong themselves. It's just that it was a competitive race for valedictorian, and this is really the problem with competitive high schools. If you did not pay money to take extra classes, you stood no chance. And I'm not even exaggerating or hyperbolizing this. You had to pay like $500 for a class or something like that. I don't know exactly how much the classes were at the private school, but they definitely weren't cheap. Like they say, if you work hard, you can be valedictorian. But at my school, you had to do more than working hard. You had to work to your absolute maximum. I wish that really anyone could be a valedictorian, but that's just what happens when you get to competitive high school. So yeah, that's pretty much the story. It's a bit crazy because when you think of valedictorians, you don't really think that they had to pay to get into their position. But no, they had to pay. It wasn't even cheap. I'm getting really repetitive, so I think I should end it here. Anyways, so that's it for this story. If you'd like to listen to more storytime videos, then be sure to subscribe. And if you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. I actually have quite a few crazy high school stories just like this one. You should also follow me on Twitter at ZyphonYT and join my Discord, link in the description. Also, be sure to check out some of my other videos. You can click on the video to the left if you'd like to hear a story about the time that one of my classmates betrayed the entire class in elementary school. On the last day of school for that matter. Just absolutely betrayed. You can also click on the right video if you'd like to hear a story about the time a teacher in middle school stabbed a student. Anyways, that's it. See ya. Peace. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another storytime video on the Zyphonium channel. And today I have a crazy one that involves what's called an AP test. Now, if you don't know what an AP test is, in the United States we take these AP classes, which are basically college level classes that have these end of year exams in May. And if you pass these exams, you can actually get credit for actual college classes. If you did well enough, you could skip like 1 or 2 classes. I think it's a really cool system, whether or not you actually agree with it. Anyways, we're not here to talk about what an AP exam is and how it works. Instead, we're going to talk about, actually, what you're not supposed to do. Cheating. If you watched a few of my other videos, you might know that I went to a really competitive high school. It was pretty good. I'm not really trying to say, oh, my high school's better, so I'm better, because that doesn't make sense. But it was a very difficult high school. They really pushed us to our limits, and it was absolutely painful. If you knew just what we had to endure, you might even feel sorry. Their strategy was basically to brute force us a bunch of information and assignments, to the point where, of course, we'd have to remember the information. We had these really good pass rates for AP exams and state tests and stuff like that. But was also the type of school where if you miss a day, it was tragic. Even if you were sick, you would try to find any excuse to go to school. That's just how it went. Not to mention, you'd actually get sick a lot in that school because they incentivize you not to miss any days of school whatsoever, otherwise you'd be really behind. In other words, going to a good high school is not equal to going to a high school that you actually want to go to. I mean, in the end it worked out. I was really prepared for college, but you know, the actual journey was very painful. And while our high school was basically just a bunch of nerds, myself included, there was one big problem that was disproportionately high at my high school, and that was cheating. Pretty much everyone tried to find different creative ways to cheat. I mean, I don't know if I exactly cheated. Like, what I'd really do is putting 1 or 2 dots on my knee under my pants. I mean, I'm not sure that actually counts. That's like moving the time on your watch ahead 1 hour to remember a certain concept. Again, I don't really know if it counts, but people tried doing everything. They invented their own writing languages. If the teacher was gone for even a minute, basically the entire class was in on some kind of big cheating scheme. Like, it was really insane. Anyways, so we had to take a bunch of AP classes. At the very minimum, by the time you graduated, you had to have taken at least 3. And that's because they required you at that school to take certain AP classes. But there was also some AP classes that you could take as electives. And for today's topic, I'm going to be talking about AP lunch. Now obviously there's no AP lunch, but this was also an incident that was on the news and I don't want anything going back to my school. So yeah, AP lunch. The class where you learn about how to mamma mia your pizza pie. I honestly don't know. Anyways. So AP lunch was known for being a really demanding class, and not many people chose it in their schedules. And in fact, the year this happened, there was slightly more than 20 people in the class. So, you know, a regular class size, but, you know, for the entire course. There is so much information that goes into studying for this class that one kid decided it'd be a great idea to cheat. And we'll call him Yoda, because he was actually smart. I mean, Yoda was wise, but we're not going to talk about that. By the end of our senior year, Yoda was actually one of the top kids in my graduating class. And if there was a student who actually needed to cheat, Yoda was not the one. And I'm not saying anyone needs to cheat. I'm just saying, like, if there was somebody who did not know the information that well, it was far from Yoda. The morning of the AP exam, Yoda was scrolling on a website. Now, of course, I don't condone cheating, so I'm not going to say exactly what this website is. But I will say that it's probably a website you've heard of. A lot of you even probably use it. It's kind of broken up into mini websites, but that's as far as I'm going to go. So he found some of the questions and answers on this website somehow. So he went into the AP exam knowing exactly the type of content that would be on there. When he took the test, he was excited because he knew that he had aced it. In fact, he was so happy that he actually decided to tell some people. Now, I wasn't there, so I don't know how many people he told, who he told exactly, or if anyone eavesdropped. But in short, what happened is that not that long after, somebody told the school administration, and College Board launched an investigation. Every kid in the AP lunch class was taken in and questioned. College Board was really out for Yoda. Each of the 20-ish people were interviewed individually, and in the end, they really could not find anything. They suspected that somebody got their answers online, and as far as I'm aware, they were right, but they really could not figure out who it was. I mean, yeah, Yoda's not going to fess up. It definitely would have been way better, because what they did next was just insane. Everyone who took the AP lunch exam had to go and retake the AP exam in July, months after. You know, during the middle of summer vacation, when you've forgotten everything in every class that doesn't matter, in one of the classes that has the most information of any AP exam. Now that must have been painful. And they were only given like a week's notice, so they had an entire week to study every single bit of information from AP lunch, down from the chapter on how to insult people like Gordon Ramsay, to how to properly flip a patty. Every single little detail. And this was also on the news, so that's how I first learned about this. This was something that spread around my school really quickly. Of course, since I wasn't in the class, I knew nothing. Even people in the class did not know anything about it. Yoda got away scot-free. He also brought down the other 19 people with him, which is just a really bad thing to do. They had nothing to do with this. Why did you make them have to suffer because of something you did? Now you might be wondering how I learned all this stuff related to Yoda, and that's because I was just kind of sitting in one of my classes, and in one of the conversations I was having with some of my friends, they were talking about the whole Yoda cheating on an AP exam situation, but with more detail than I knew. I assume that those people were the same people Yoda told about how he cheated, but I can only speculate. At the end of the day, this was really just a scummy thing to do. It was one of the worst exams to have to retake. If it was AP Psychology, then yeah, it's not that bad. But AP Lunch? Now that's too far. That's pretty much it for the story. Yoda never got caught, but again he had to retake the exam, along with everyone else. So anyways, that's it for this story. If you'd like to hear more crazy stories like this, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. You can follow me on Twitter at ZyphonYT. Also, be sure to check out some of my other videos. You can click on the left if you'd like to hear a story about the time one kid had to pay to be valedictorian. I mean, he didn't exactly pay to be valedictorian directly, but the process to be valedictorian required money. You can also click on the video to the right if you'd like to hear a story about the time one of my teachers stabbed a student. Anyways, that's it. See ya, peace. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the Zyphonium channel, and today I have a story that I actually wanted to talk about for a while, and I'm talking about the most popular video on my main channel that I made within the past year, the rise, fall, and end of Minecraft Monday. So if you have watched the video, you know that in the beginning I say that it's for a school project. And besides that, I haven't really said that much about the context, like what class was it for, or how many people would see it from my class. I did answer some questions in the comments, but unless you're digging through every single comment, you probably haven't seen everything I said. So I figured, wait a minute, I have a storytime channel. I can make a video about the story of that video. So here we are. It's not that complicated of a story, and there are some things that I want to set straight. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. So the first misconception that I see a lot of people have about my video is that I made it solely for the class. Since I submitted it as a project, that means it was supposed to be a project the entire time, right? No. I was making Minecraft Monday videos before then, and I was juggling it with documentaries, mostly my series, YouTuber biographies. I had the idea to make a documentary about Minecraft Monday. It would be like a crossover episode between the two types of videos that I do on my channel. I can't exactly remember when this happened, but it had to be in late August. I always wanted to make it right after week 10 of Minecraft Monday. And my plan was to make a video like that every 10 weeks. Unfortunately for me, I got caught up in schoolwork, I had a lot to do that week, and before you know it, it just ended. Time just flew by. I had no time to make a documentary. I really wanted to, but I just had no time. So, I wanted to make it the next week. But again, I couldn't. And this type of cycle continued on for weeks. Eventually, Minecraft Monday came to an end after some hacker destroyed the event. At that point, there was a big uncertainty about the future, and I had no idea what to do. I mean, the video idea was in my head, but by that time, that wasn't the first thing on my mind. I don't know, it was just a bit complicated. Eventually, Keemstar posted a tweet that pretty much confirmed that Minecraft Monday ended. It was over. It was not continuing. And right after I saw that tweet, I just knew I had to go through with my idea. But I was in a dilemma. It was just a work-heavy week, and I also had to do something for my English project. So in my English class, I had to do this creative project about intertextuality, basically how one work can reference another. Like if a book you read mentions Star Wars or something like that. And since I'm a video person, I knew I just had to make a video. I mean, I also could have talked about a TV show, but I don't really watch that many TV shows, to be honest. I watch everything on YouTube. YouTube has everything, so yeah. It took me a bit of thinking, but eventually I had the bright idea to combine the two concepts and submit my Minecraft Monday documentary as a project. It was just genius. Now, instead of indefinitely postponing my video idea week after week, I could finally make it. The video I had planned for months at this point, I could finally make it. And how does this relate to intertextuality? Because the whole point of a documentary is to reference other works. You have to reference stuff to show information, and a good documentary shows video footage and whatever else there is to reference. In my case, Twitter tweets. So one day, I just ate, and right after that, I got straight to work. It was around noon when I really started working on my script, and I finished it at around 4. I knew enough about Minecraft Monday, having followed it the entire time, to put the script together at a pretty good pace. It took me a little over an hour to record the audio. Whenever I make an audio recording for a video, the audio recording is usually at least twice as long as the video itself. My last video, which was about a chemistry teacher, that had like 40 minutes of audio, and I cut it down to like 11 minutes. There's a lot of audio editing that goes into this type of stuff. But yeah, it took me about an hour to record audio, and after that, it was just straight editing. I edited the video, rendered it, and it was finished rendering at around 9 AM. So I uploaded the video, did everything I had to do, like the thumbnail description, stuff like that, and submitted it for my English project. While editing the video, I realized that the teacher might not think it's actually my channel, so I decided that in the intro, I'd say that the entire thing is a school project. That way he knows that it's me. I mean, obviously there's my voice, but I don't know. I just wanted to be safe. So you might be wondering how many people from my class actually saw the video, and the answer is 2, student-wise, or 3 if you include the teacher, or 4 if you include me, which I don't know if that even counts. But yeah, everyone did their own creative things, and if we watched every video, that would have taken forever. It was very unrealistic, especially since we only have like one more real week of school left. Only 2 of my classmates actually saw the video. I wouldn't really have a problem with all my other classmates knowing. I know a lot of people don't want others to know about their YouTube channel, but I don't really have a problem with that. Maybe I'm a little weird for that, but I don't care. And so, the magic of the YouTube algorithm kicked in. The first day, I got 20,000 views. I know a lot of my videos on my main channel get that now, but at the time, that was huge for one of my documentary videos. No other documentary video I made on my channel got to 20,000 views that fast. And at the time, only one other documentary video I made even got to that point. My How Did Technoblade Get Famous video. All my other documentary videos were sitting at thousands of views. They eventually got spikes in viewership, especially my dream one, but this was before all that happened. I kid you not. The night I hit 10,000 subscribers was one of the happiest nights of my life. I had the best sleep I've ever had. There was really just a lot of excitement in me. Eventually, I go to English class. There was a little Thanksgiving break, which is a thing in the States. Yeah, after that I go back to class. The teacher doesn't really say anything, except when I go into class, when he said, "I didn't know you had a YouTube following." It wasn't really made into a big deal at all, but I do think it's an interesting story that the professor will be able to tell to his future classes. A story about the time one of his students made a documentary for a project and it got over 1 million views. And I know a lot of people are asking about my grade. I got an A. I missed a few points, but not from the video. It was just my reflection paper that I submitted alongside it. I could have made it better, but you know, it's all in the past now. I'm done with the class. The professor was actually a pretty cool guy. So I hope this story cleared any misconceptions anyone had about my Minecraft Monday documentary project. I submitted it as a school project, but I did not make it for school. I did make some adjustments here and there to make it understandable to people who don't know anything about video games. But besides that, the people I made the video for was technically my class, but not really. Maybe that makes sense to you, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. So that wraps it up for this story. So what do you think? Did anything about this story surprise you? Is there anything I should have done differently when making the video? Please let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you'd like to stay tuned for more storytime videos like this, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. Every video I give a shout out. And the shout out for this video goes to the one and only Joseph Young. If you'd like a chance at a shout out, all you have to do is comment on this video. It can be anything, and you don't even have to subscribe. Besides all that, be sure to check out my other videos. You should click on the left for a video about the time my chemistry teacher almost failed all of his classes, and not because he was angry, but because of negligence. You can also click on the video to the right for a different video about the time that I got a detention for refusing to touch Oreos. I had some weird Oreo phobia, I don't know. Anyways, that's it, see ya, peace. What's up everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and welcome back to another video on the Zyphonium channel. Now there's one thing I need to tell you. If you don't like within the next 10 seconds, then your teacher is just gonna go up to you and stab you with a pencil. Okay. Kappa, you hear that? This is not child friendly. Okay, anyways. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about something crazy that happened when I was in 8th grade. There's a lot of background information that I should give you, so let's talk about that first. So, when I was in 7th and 8th grade, when I was 12 to 14 years old, I went to a charter school, and at the time I thought it was the craziest school ever. There was always some kind of thing that everyone was talking about. Whether it's a disease on the school campus, or another teacher getting fired, there was always something happening. And when I say teachers getting fired, I mean the teachers were always constantly being replaced. And I mean, mostly for bad reasons, but there was also some good teachers who were left for good reasons. And that brings us to today's story. Now for 7th grade and the beginning of 8th grade, I had this really good science teacher. I guess we can call him Mr. Goodman. That's not his actual name. I'm not going to use actual names in this story. I'm just going to make up random names. Goodman, because he was a good man. Well, he is a good man. I don't think he's dead. I haven't heard from him. Okay. But he was a really good science teacher. He was constantly using different teaching styles. I kid you not, it would have been very difficult to get bored in that class. Eventually, he got a new job opportunity. He had the opportunity to go somewhere better. He never actually told us what it was, because he was trying to keep it a secret. But you know, if you're a really good teacher, and you get a better job opportunity, why not take it? I mean, I can't really blame him. But what are you gonna do? Tell him to stay in a school that's, you know, not the best? And on the last day, he had us do a Diet Coke Mentos experiment. He explained the science behind it and all that type of stuff. And the next day, I was actually very surprised to see a new teacher. Now to be fair, Mr. Goodman gave them enough notice that they could find a replacement teacher. But at my school, usually they would take forever to find any replacement. So the fact that they had a new teacher lined up on the first day after he changed jobs, that was just a new record. You know, I was happy to see this. Or I should not say happy, I was optimistic. You know, I didn't have Mr. Goodman as my science teacher anymore. But was there really any reason to be pessimistic at this point? And this new teacher, I'll probably just call him Mr. Badman. You know, the complete opposite. In 8th grade, it was my duty to try to get on the good side of every teacher. Not, you know, necessarily for grades, But you don't really want to have teachers hating you. I wasn't trying to be a perfect student, if you know what I mean, but I definitely wanted to have a good reputation. So, I participated in class, I paid attention closely to every lesson, so I thought everything was going well. A lot of the other students in the class, they didn't exactly like him, but they also didn't have too much of a reason to hate him. And then one day, it all came to a tipping point for me. So, in the United States, we have Thanksgiving, and we have 3 days off of school for Thanksgiving, or a 5-day weekend. I know in some school districts they do it where you have the entire week off, but the charter school I went to was following my school district, and we had the 3 days off. So on the Tuesday, the last day of school before the break, it was just a regular class. I was maybe like the second or third person to leave the class. And then the Monday when we came back, there was a test out of nowhere. I never heard of this test. I was always on top of everything. I was trying to be a good student. But how did I never hear of this test? I asked some of my classmates because I found out about it earlier in the day, fortunately, and they said that he announced it at the end of class. Or in other words, if I had stayed in the room for maybe 10 seconds, I would have heard about it. So I had to do a lot of last minute studying, and I was pretty worried for this test. When the test actually came around, there were some questions on topics that I had never seen before. And keep in mind, I actually pay attention in class. I've actually read through this chapter in the book before, and there was something on the test that I have never heard of. When we broke for lunch, which was still during the science class, closer to the end of it, and I asked all my classmates, none of them have ever heard of it either. They were all confused, and quite frankly, all of them thought that they were doing pretty badly on the test. On the actual test, I tried politely telling the teacher that the material that he was testing us on, or at least one particular question, was on something that was not in the book, and I thought nothing much of it. I knew for a fact that no one had ever heard of that specific topic, so I had to point it out. The next class, when he had everything graded, the teacher called me out on that. He said that I was a liar, and that the material was actually in the book. Now, maybe the material from that one question was in the book, but as far as the actual chapter we were studying is concerned, no one had ever heard of it. No one. I literally asked everyone in the class. No one. I repeat, no one. Okay, I'm saying no one too much. Okay. I blushed a little, because what are you supposed to do? What was I supposed to say? Oh, the entire class thinks you're crazy? When we broke for lunch that day, my classmates who were there, they came up to me saying that I was in the right. They didn't really agree with the teacher. But that's when I knew that Mr. Badman was a bad teacher. He explained everything that needed to be explained, but he wasn't the best at it. And now he had put material on a test that he had never taught. I felt like the entire rest of the school year in that class was going to be a pain. And keep in mind, it was only late November. We all still had an entire half of the school year to put up with Mr. Badman. That was just way too much. There was no other class that I disliked more than that science class. And that's saying something, because before Mr. Badman, when Mr. Goodman was still teaching the class, it was one of my favorite classes. Just goes to show how drastically things can change teacher to teacher. After that test, I was a bit worried. My grade dropped from a 111 to a 102. You're wondering how that happened. That's because Mr. Goodman gave us extra credit for memorizing elements of the periodic table, and I memorized 87. Apparently. But if this kept up for the few weeks we had remaining, the bad grades could actually have an impact. I went through class for about another week, until one day there was a substitute. The substitute teacher informed us that Mr. Badman had actually stabbed a student. From what I heard, here's essentially what happened. So there was an earlier class, and that class was not the most well behaved, it was pretty chaotic. And there were some students who just would not listen to the teacher. There was this one kid who got out of his seat to sharpen a pencil, and Mr. Badman told him to sit down. He didn't listen, so Mr. Badman grabbed the pencil, and there was a tug-of-war fight between this one pencil. Now that was a terrible idea. As Mr. Badman and the student were fighting over this one pencil, Mr. Badman accidentally stabbed the student, and there was blood coming out. After that happened, the student, with no hesitation whatsoever, ran to the administration office and told them what happened. We also got to go to lunch earlier during the class that day, and we were hanging out, talking about the teacher, and then, Right through the window of the cafeteria, there we saw him, Mr. Badman. He was in the parking lot, walking to his car. He pulled out and left in an instant. Everyone in the cafeteria was cheering. That goes to show you how bad of a reputation Mr. Badman had. Even the vice president of the student council was cheering. And that's saying something. We never heard from him again. We ended up getting a much better science teacher after that, who was the wife of a teacher who already had a pretty good reputation at the school. Needless to say, everything worked out in the end. Oh, and I should also say that the school administration actually reverted our grades back to how they were before Mr. Badman, so I got to keep my 111, hooray! Now this was an experience unlike any other. While I definitely will say that I've had some pretty bad teachers, I haven't really had any teachers that I dislike the same way as Mr. Badman. Anyways, that's it for this story. I mean, I hope you never have a teacher like that. This is a teacher you never want to have. You never want to have a Mr. Badman at your school. Besides that, if you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. Join my Discord, link is in the description, and follow me on Twitter at ZyphonYT. Besides all that, be sure to check out some of my other videos. On the left, there's a storytime video about my main channel and how a certain event called Minecraft Monday really helped it. The video on the right is random. This is my second video. I don't have 2 videos to advertise to you at this point in time, but trust me, in the future that's how it's gonna work. Anyways, that's it. See ya, peace. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a video on the Zyphonium channel. I know, I haven't uploaded in such a long time. I could barely upload on my main channel, much less this one. You have no idea how much audio editing I have to go through. I naturally pause when I speak, so I actually have to edit out every single pause. I mean, I'm not complaining. I like the result. But you know, it's not that simple. Anyways, today I have a very classic Zyphon story. I know a lot of you haven't really heard it, but this is a story I told time and time again on my main channel. And I figured if I'm gonna come back on this channel, I might as well do a video on it. So get ready and buckle your seatbelts. At least if you're watching in a car. I mean, if you're watching on a couch, I don't know, throw your phone onto the ground. Anyways, I'm stalling. Let's get into this. So the story takes place in elementary school, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'd go to a speech therapy class. I had a lot of trouble pronouncing the S sound, so that was the main reason I was there. I also had trouble pronouncing the TH sound. Apparently, I've just never learned how to make it, and when one of my classmates showed me how to make the sound right before my first speech class, I immediately fixed the problem. So yeah, it was just the S sound at that point. And in this class, we do a lot of arts and crafts projects. To be honest, even to this day, I have no idea how that's at all related to the class. I guess to make us not bored or something? I have no idea. I'm not complaining though, it was interesting, but it also led to this story. I had this very big phobia of Oreos. Not necessarily directed at Oreos, but really at foods that I didn't like at all. I didn't want to touch them, and I was really scared of even smelling them. That's how irrational this thing was. If I touched the Oreo, my head would explode, and my blood would splatter all over the classroom. That would be very graphic. I did not want that to happen. So there, I had a very intense staring contest with the Oreo. Me, the Oreo. Head to head. I guess you can say it was kind of like a Western film, where the sheriff and the antagonist are both staring at each other face to face, right before high noon. My speech teacher kept telling me to actually assemble the Oreo, and to be fair, I mean, she's right. If I'm in school, I should actually do the schoolwork, but that's not how I saw it. Because again, I had that Oreo phobia. I proceeded to ask her a series of questions to see if there's at all any way I could get out of touching the Oreo. First I asked if I could skip the Oreo part, and she said no. Then I asked if I could use something else like a substitute, and again, no. I asked if there was a napkin or anything I could use so I could pick up the Oreo without actually touching it, and as you guessed, no. Finally, I asked if I could go to the restroom so that I could grab toilet paper that I could use to grab the Oreo, and finally, at long last, she said no. By the end of the class, I haven't done anything, and I was told I'd get in trouble. The next morning, my homeroom teacher handed me a pink slip. And you know, in elementary school we had these pink slips called slip-ups. They were just our way of getting in trouble, and if you got one, you had to go to recess detention. Every day of school we have like 15-20 minutes, I forget, and we'd use that time to play on a playground. When you have recess detention, instead of going onto the playground to play, you had to walk laps around the school basketball court for the entire duration. You're not allowed to speak to anyone, just pure silence. I was still upset because the fact I got in trouble over that. The thing is, I actually tried to negotiate with the teacher to not have to touch the Oreo, and as you heard, there was no leeway or anything like that. Actually, this whole incident led to a parent-teacher conference where my teachers talked to my mom about some problems with me that were overall just really ridiculous, including this incident. You know what? If this video gets 10 likes in the first 24 hours, I will go ahead and tell that story next. So yeah, that wraps it up for this story. If you'd like to hear more stories of mine, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. You can follow me on Twitter at ZyphonYT. And besides all that, you should be sure to check out my other videos. You can click on the video to the left to hear a story time about how Minecraft Monday helped my main channel. You can also click on the right for a story about how my middle school science teacher stabbed a kid. Granted, it was with a pencil, but stabbing is stabbing. Anyways, that's it. See ya, peace. How's it going, everyone? This is my new channel, Zyphonium, where I'm gonna do a bunch of storytime videos, all that type of stuff. It's not a Minecraft channel, just so you know. But I probably will talk about Minecraft a lot because my main channel is related to Minecraft, and I have a lot of stories related to it. I plan to upload daily, though I don't know if I can keep that up, probably. For now, a lot of the video ideas I have are related to Minecraft. I want to bring a lot of my fan base here, but I also want to do some expansion on this channel alone. Maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. We'll have to find out. Anyways, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I wanted to make my first video on something that gave my channel a huge boost. Minecraft Monday. Now, I say Minecraft Monday so much, it doesn't even feel like a word anymore. I mean a name, but yeah, Minecraft Monday's in the dictionary. Okay. So you might be wondering, what inspired me to make Minecraft Monday videos? What did it do for my channel? So I want to talk about most of what can be covered. So without any further ado, let's get into the story. It was late June of 2019 this year, and I was trying to get back into YouTube. At that point, I was starting to get a lot of video ideas, but none of them really seemed like they'd work. Then one morning, when I went onto YouTube while laying in bed, because that's pretty much what I do every day, I saw a post by Technoblade, a YouTuber that I was a huge fan of. He said that he was in a Minecraft tournament hosted by Keemstar and with a ton of Minecraft YouTubers. Now this excited me because I never expected that to happen. I really wanted him to win. So I watched it, and as I was watching the video, I had an idea. What if I were to make a video discussing this event? Now, it was also kind of in part because before I had made a video about a Super Bowl commercial, and that just blew up. So I wanted the same thing to happen, but, maybe not to the same scale. Still, it was something. So after Minecraft Monday, I found the top 3 moments, and I compiled them into a Minecraft Monday highlights video. It ended up getting about 200 views in the first day, which was actually a lot for my channel standards. I had posted a rant video that only got 16 views in the first day. The video that followed right after, my external documentary, that only got 26 views. But 200? Wow. I know if you look at a bunch of big YouTubers, 200 feels like nothing. But come on, that's actually something when you're super small. That video now has over 18,000 views, just to show you how much things can change. I like this, so the next week, I followed this up with another video. This time, I did not do a top 3 style, because I did not like that. And while I did want to make a highlights video, I don't really feel comfortable making the highlights videos purely other people's stuff. So I added a bit of a news segment to the beginning and an outro, just to make it more personal. There were people saying, "Oh, you're only doing that to extend out your video. Get rid of the news segment." No. If I'm going to put it on my channel, it needs to have some personal touch. And that video got 40,000 views. I mean, now it has 96,000, but still, that was huge. As I was trying to do the news segment for that video, I noticed that there was a lot of drama behind the scenes. I was trying to get a good idea of what was going on, and then I realized there was enough happening to make an entire video. So I made a video on the Keemstar versus Pizza Hut drama, and I continue this process of making a highlights video every week. And as this happened, I decided I should actually expand to more than just highlights. So I made the video, Why Technoblade Always Dominates Minecraft Monday, and that did pretty well. I also made a video describing the controversy, or drama, where Call Me Carson was getting a lot of hate for apparently sabotaging Technoblade. And at the time, not right now, just at the time, it got 32,000 views. And a lot of the views are actually from people being recommended that video on one of Technoblade's videos about the same subject. I also made another analysis video, Why Skeppy won Minecraft Monday Week 5, but I decided not to make any more analysis videos, because by that point it felt like, what was I gonna say, the same exact things every week? I still feel like that video was a bit unnecessary, because it did not really bring anything to the table or point at anything specific. It was pretty general. Anyways, moving on. At this point, I noticed that other YouTubers who made Minecraft Monday videos made a lot of videos titled YouTubers React to Technoblade and, doing whatever. I thought to myself, why don't I do this myself? And so I made YouTubers React to Technoblade's TNT Run win streak. Not that long after, I also made one about YouTubers reacting to Technoblade being bountied by MrBeast for $15,000. And then there came a roadblock in Minecraft Monday, happening. There was a hiatus due to TwitchCon, and during this time, there wasn't really anything going on related to Minecraft Monday. So yeah, there wasn't really anything to make videos on related to Minecraft Monday. When the hiatus was extended for a second week, I decided to make a bit of a small update video, and an anime intro video, which was really cool. Okay. So then came the last week of Minecraft Monday. The one where a hacker came, destroyed everything, and Minecraft Monday was apparently on hiatus until November, which, surprise surprise, never happened. I made a news video on the whole hacking situation, and that video blew up thanks to a news video that Lego Maestro made. It's not that he directly referenced it, but a lot of his viewers were spilling over from that one specific video into mine. And I gotta tell you, literally, I went to sleep for about an hour, and when I woke up, my sub count was up by an entire 100. Now keep in mind that at this point, I was getting about 20 subscribers per day. So I had to check, I kept refreshing the page and I checked Social Blade just to see that my eyes weren't being deceived. And they weren't. Now to be fair, this spike of subscribers did die down as Lego Maestro's video died down, but that was crazy. I still can't explain the feeling that I felt. Anyways, moving on, Jerome ASF, the YouTuber, decided to host a Minecraft Monday Battle Dome. I covered that, had some success, and nothing really major or significant happened. So I made some Minecraft Monday videos, not related to current events. I made some YouTubers React to Technoblade videos, 3 of them, and some Minecraft Monday discussion videos over time. I was even trying to play Hypixel at one point, and some person was angry that I was still making Minecraft Monday videos. He's like, "It's over. Stop making videos about it. You don't need the views. You understand? Thank you." I mean, I was silent because I was trying to play Hypixel. I have the right to, enjoy playing TNT Wizards, but okay. And then, sometime around mid-November, Keemstar tweeted saying that Minecraft Monday is probably not coming back. I wanted to make a video on this so bad, but would it really be that good of a video? Then I had an idea. I had this major project in English class that was due. So what if I doubled and made a Minecraft Monday documentary about the entire history fitting the criteria for the project? And so that's what I did. If you're wondering, it was an English project on intertextuality. You could pretty much do anything, but most people wrote essays and made websites or PowerPoints. I did the third option, which was make a creative work. I had to do a one-page reflection, and I discussed how my video, my documentary, referenced other works, the videos that I directly mentioned by A60, Pizza Hut, Keemstar, and even the tweets that I brought up, because those count. Yeah, that was an A. And no, the entire class did not watch it. It was only the professor and two of the students in my class. I mean, I'm sorry that I made them sit through a 30-minute video, but I wanted to make the video so badly. Okay. And that video, it got an insane response. I got comments from Lego Maestro, Original Content, A6D, Bad Boy Halo, and Keemstar himself. Keemstar even tweeted at me. I'm speechless. I'm telling you, I hit 10,000 subscribers and got a message from Keemstar all in the same night. And I slept well. I mean, it's only one video, I know. It's died down, but still, it was great. Will I make any more Minecraft Monday videos? Probably not, because there really isn't anything to talk about. Well, I mean, I'm gonna make a responding to comments video, of course. But other than that, what else is there to make a video on? The ride was actually really good while it lasted, but everything must come to an end. But this channel is coming to a beginning, so if you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. You should really follow me on Twitter at ZyphonYT, and join my Discord. Link is in the description. Besides all that, check out my other videos. I know I don't really have any videos at this point in time, but trust me, there's going to be more videos on this channel. And these two videos you see right here, you should go check them out if you're not watching this video on the day it came out. Anyways, that's it, see ya, peace. How's it going, everyone? This is Zyphonium, my second channel, and today I have a very juicy story. There's a lot of detail, so without any further ado, let's get into the story. So this all happened in 4th grade. I was about 10 years old if you're wondering. It was the last day of school. We were about to be promoted to the next grade. Everyone was in a good mood, because after that day, it was just summer vacation. Months of free time, no school, we don't have to worry about it. It's the best feeling you can have. Unfortunately, this day was spoiled by a certain someone, but we're not going to talk about him just yet, because he comes into the story later. So really, everyone was talking amongst their own friend groups, kind of just chilling. I had a best friend who I'll call Mike, that's not his real name by the way, and we were pretty good friends because we were both into internet stuff. The other boys in the class were not really into the same type of things. I was very into internet memes and Club Penguin. We were hanging out in the empty neighboring classroom, which is where my class stored all their backpacks. We were allowed there, so why not? And we were making paper airplanes. I didn't know how to make paper airplanes, so Mike was pretty much just teaching me how to make them. I don't know why, but we decided to go back into the main classroom, or the actual classroom I should say. We were just hanging out, normal last day of school stuff. And I saw a yearbook on the table. It was wide open, turned to my classroom's page. I did not think anything of this because from far away it could look like a normal page. I had to wear glasses for a reason, I guess. But I decided to look at it for some reason, in closer detail. When I looked inside the yearbook, I was shocked. The page was drawn all over with a Sharpie. There was drawings on people's faces, people were called names, not exclusively bad ones, but you get the point. With his Sharpie, he made one of the girls in my classroom look like Abraham Lincoln. He also drew the devil horns on another girl. Under my friend Mike, he wrote the word cool, but under me, he wrote the word nerd. Now, at the time, I did not like that. I thought of the word nerd as an insult. Nowadays, I don't, because I went to an entire high school that was just filled with nerds, and I'm pretty much a nerd, by all means. So you might be wondering, did we ever find out who did this? And the answer is yes. First off, his name was written in the front of the yearbook, so it wasn't that secret. Oh, and by the way, on the actual page, not only did he call himself awesome, but he also wrote the word me, telling the entire classroom, hey everyone, I'm the person who did this. There's no doubt about that. Like, dude, if you're going to insult the entire classroom, the least you could do is at least try to hide your identity. Like, we didn't even have to do any investigations. You literally told us who you were. You didn't even try to hide it. It was a bit ridiculous. We're gonna call this guy Jake. Nothing against any Jakes out there, It's just the first name that came to my head because, Jake the dog. Anyways, my friend Mike and I, we both look at each other in shock. I mean, he did compliment Mike, but he didn't like the fact that his friends are being insulted. So Mike goes to our classmates and, just tells everyone about what he saw. And everyone just going to this yearbook. Immediately, we all know who did it because, again, it was super obvious. We didn't have to question anything. And everyone kind of just turns to Jake. Everyone's just talking to him. And, upset. Like all the people in the class, we pretty much hated him at this point. Fortunately for him, this was literally his last day of school at my elementary school, so we would never see him again. Because I'm telling you, if he went back here, he would have to change classrooms. After all this went down, I'm not sure anyone in my classroom would have liked him. Maybe eventually over time we'll forgive him, but everyone would still have this incident in the back of their heads. The day proceeds pretty normally, except now everyone hates Jake. We go to recess, and then there's another thing that happened. So I was just doing my thing, I was playing with Mike, and then, in the background, I saw one of my classmates talking to Jake. They were arguing with each other, it was pretty visible, and then, my classmate, the one who's not Jake, curses him in full blast for everyone in the playground to hear. That's how far the situation went. When we got back to the classroom, it's pretty much just everyone ignoring Jake. Jake kind of went out. No one saw him again or talked to him again. As far as I'm aware, I don't think anyone in that class even knows him anymore. Like, come on. The least you could do is not show everyone you hate them all. By now, he's probably changed as a person, and if I were to meet Jake again, I wouldn't really hold this against him. This all happened 9 years ago. It doesn't really matter at this point. I'm pretty sure while Jake didn't immediately learn his lesson, he probably looks back at this incident in embarrassment. Or at least that's how I would feel if I was Jake. I don't know, Jake is his own person, we don't know him. But yeah, this guy basically told everyone that he hated them all. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this story. If you'd like to listen to more stories, which I'll try to get daily, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. I know I've said that it's been daily and I haven't been uploading daily, but from now on I'm going to try to get this done daily. If it doesn't work out, then maybe I'll just advertise it as every other day. I want to upload on this channel pretty frequently. I have a lot of stories in my life that I can tell. It's really interesting to reflect back on things that happened years ago and have pretty much been locked away in the back part of my memory. So I really like it. Besides all that, you should also follow me on Twitter at ZyphonYT and join my Discord. Link in the description. Besides all that, be sure to check out some of my other videos. You can click on the video to the left if you'd like to hear a story about the time my teacher stabbed a student. You can also click on the video to the right if you'd like to hear the story about how in kindergarten my bus driver left me out in the street, or basically the street. Might as well just call it the street. Anyways, that's it. See ya. Peace. How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I know for a fact that I myself am, and today I have a crazy story. It's a bit crazy, so let's get straight into it. So it all happened on the first day of kindergarten. This was my first ever day of school. The first time that I was by myself for pretty much the whole day. Because, when you're a child, you don't really separate from your parents that much. I was a bit confused about what was going on. Although, taking in what was happening. There wasn't actually anything that special that happened on the first day of kindergarten. I mean, the teacher pretty much just explained what was happening. I personally was looking around the room, observing everything on the wall. And the day ends, so I go to the bus. Now, I don't know about you, but where I live, the bus situation is absolutely hectic. I'm not really talking about the United States in general, because it varies from district to district. But in my school district, if you ride the bus regularly, you'll probably run across quite a few bus incidents every year. And by incident, I don't mean like drama, I just mean like the bus is late, something crazy happens with the bus ride. And this happened on the first day of school. My first day of school. So the bus driver drove by my neighborhood and dropped us off by the front. And when I say the front, I just mean the part that's visible from the street. Now keep in mind, again, I had no idea what was going on, and I saw all the other children running down the pathway to get to all the cars. I was a bit confused because I had no idea how pickup worked. This was my first ever time riding the bus, so I had no precedent to go off of. And I followed everyone. I was running down the pathway, and I thought that we were supposed to get as far down the path as possible, basically to our houses. So I kept running and running. I saw people get picked up by the parents, but again, I had no idea what was going on. I saw some people take their bikes from a bike rack. So, I tried continuing. I ran past my mom. She asked me where I was going, and I said that I was running to the house. I mean, good luck. It was like, even in the neighborhood, my house was still like a mile away. So good luck to my 5.5-year-old self running all that distance. I mean, I was picked up, and that was it. The next day, the bus driver dropped us off in the proper location. I personally was a bit upset because I thought that the previous spot was the proper one, but apparently not. So yeah, I mean, this was a pretty short bus story. I have a ton more from over the years. If you'd like me to tell them, please let me know down in the comments. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you'd like to hear more crazy stories like this, be sure to subscribe. If you hated it, don't forget to leave a dislike. You can follow me on Twitter at ZyphonYT, or you can join my Discord, link in the description. Actually do both. Besides all that, be sure to check out some of my other videos. You can click on the left if you'd like to hear a story about the time my middle school science teacher stabbed a student. You can also click on the right if you'd like to see a story about my main channel and how this weekly event called Minecraft Monday helped it. Anyways, that's it. See ya. Peace.